Good afternoon, Alberta. And good afternoon, Canada. I want to talk about something that's beyond the protests here. So the protests in Ottawa are all but done. The arresters or the organizers are in jail. And massive and ridiculous financial penalties coming to all of those who support it. This has nothing to do with the convoy. This has everything to do with the Emergencies Act and where we are headed at large. So the legislation that we're going to see coming over the next couple weeks and the precedent that has now been set by the invocation of the Emergencies Act, some people are saying is going to limit everybody's right to protest. I believe it's actually worse than that. It's going to limit some people's rights to protest. What the government is doing right now is they are instilling checks and balances with which the population has to meet before they're allowed to protest. So, for example, a Black Lives Matter rally is going to be able to protest. The majority of those people are vaccinated, and the majority of the people in those protests are going to comply with what the state mandates in regards to either COVID, digital identities, and then, of course, monitoring of all of our social medias and internet presences. So that is actually the scariest thing for me is that point in particular, that no, this isn't going to limit everybody's right to protest. This, once again, this isn't a we're all in it together type of a thing. This is freedom for me and none for thee. Whereas the people who toe the government's line or comply with the state will are going to be allowed to exercise their rights, like freedom of demonstration or right to protest or right to demonstrate. Freedom of assembly, freedom of speech, freedom of conscience. You can have all those things, 100%. You can go about this country as you want and do whatever you want, provided you check off these boxes identified by the state. The other issue here, man, my mouth is dry. Whew, I need something to drink. The other issue here is that creates that furthers the wedge between these two sides of society, like we've been talking about, because those who toe the state line and are able to freely exercise their rights are going to call that freedom. So I think moving forward, it's important that we make the distinction that we aren't looking for freedom. We're looking for self-determination. Those are two different things, because freedom is it's a spectrum, or it's subject to interpretation by the individual, whereas self-determination isn't. Self-determination is that I decide what I do and how I do it. Freedom for some is waking up in the morning and getting a push notification from the state saying this is what we are and aren't allowed to do today, and to them that's freedom. So it's important that we maintain congruency with our verbiage to our goals. I don't want freedom. I want self-determination. Hold the line. God bless Canada.